All right. So 15 questions. Now, obviously, the practice exams will be 50 questions, and that'll be timed. This is not timed. Um, no, it will not be this easy. I, I, I'm easing y'all into it. I know nobody's read anything for months, so easing it into it. We're gonna run through these real quick. If anybody has a question, just let me know. A ball becomes live when the ball has been legally snapped or free kicked and a down is in progress. That is true, right? That's a straight definition. Better? Is that better, Skip? A player in possession of a live ball is a runner. Straight definition, fundamental. Following the ready for play and after touching the ball, the snapper shall not make any movement that stimulates a snap. That's straight definition stuff. Free kick lines are always 10 yards apart. Sure. Even if it's by penalty, right? You can shift them by penalty, but they're still going to be 10 yards apart.
Okay.
All right. A valid fair catch signal is extending and laterally waving of one or both arms at full arm's length above the head by any R player. False. All right. What makes that false? Yeah. So it says both hands. It's one hand. And so this is a true false. Read the question. Right. I guarantee you most of those that missed that didn't read it closely. At the time the ball is kicked, during a free kick, at least 4 players must be on each side of the kicker. And the key there is when the ball is kicked, right? Because this rule does not become applicable until the ball is actually kicked. Lateness and arrival is a cardinal sin in officiating. Game officials shall arrive at the site of a varsity game at least 90 minutes before the scheduled game time. True. Targeting fouls carry to automatic ejection. False. False. Now, if it's what they get ejected? Flagrant. Flagrant. That's not the same as targeting. Roughing the snapper is a 15-yard penalty and carries an automatic first down provision. True. The game clock shall start with the snap when the penalty for delay of game foul is accepted. True. Yep. When B touches a legal forward pass, all members of A become eligible. True. Pass interference restrictions on a legal forward pass begin for A players at the snap. When do they begin for B players? When the ball releases the passer's hand. Yep. For there to be a horse collar foul, the player being tackled must be brought to the ground backward or sideward. True. Prior to a try following a score, 40 seconds will be put on the play clock and start on the ready for play signal. False. How many seconds is it? 5. Possession of a live ball in the opponent's end zone is always a touchdown. That's a true statement. So remember the fundamental. Like I said Thursday night, if you don't know what happened, but you know that an opponent, say it's River Bluff and Dutch Fork, and a Dutch Fork kid is standing in the River Bluff end zone with the football, and you don't have any idea how it got there, but that one kid standing in the end zone with the football, handing it to you, just go touchdown. All right? Just go touchdown. Any questions about that quiz? Like I said, I'll send it out every Friday, and they will get harder. They will get more difficult as we move along.
The FCFOA have a test or where they have questions from previous years' exams?
Yeah, that's what those questions were.
Okay. Might be cool to put some of those in the
that was last year's rookie exam. You'll see that it'll be last year's rookie exam and last year's rating exam. Yep. All right. Substitution, participations, and timeouts. All right. So first section we're going to cover is illegal substitution and participation. All right, definitions. All right, so there's a few key ones here. This is, Rule 230 and Rule 232. Participation is any act or action by a player or non-player that influences the play. Now, is there interpretation with that? Yes. There's a gray area to this, right? Influence the play. Well, what influence the play to me may be different than what John considers influence the play, what James considers influence the play. All right. Player, one of 22 team members designated to start the game or replaces another player. Replace player is a player notified by a substitute to leave the field. A non-player is everybody else. So you got how many was the maximum number of players we can have at any down? 22. Okay. And that includes the live ball period and the dead ball period, right? And then they get replaced off. So everybody else, if you're not one of those 22, then you're considered a non-player. Substitute replaces a player or fills a player vacancy and becomes a player when they enter the field and do something. Communicate with a teammate, game official, enter the huddle, formation, or otherwise participates. So to be a substitute, you enter the field and then you have to do something. Okay? He'd be a non-player. No. Just get the game management to move him. Yeah. A legal substitution. All right. Dead ball. So we have dead ball, legal substitution, fouls, and we have live ball ones, right? If the ball is either live or dead, there's only two options. So replace player fails to leave the field within 3 seconds. All right. Now, are we going to be super strict on this? Are we counting 3? No. But if they're in formation and nobody's leaving the field and they got 12, what are we going to call? Yeah, shut it down. You're going to kill that, right? That's easy on offense. On defense, if you count 12 and nobody's running off, you're going to kill it? Absolutely. If you count 12 and the 12th kid has to run all the way across the field and you know there's no way he's going to get there before the ball is snapped, are you going to kill it? Yes, you're going to kill it. He's not going to get there, right? So he had 3 seconds to leave the field. He didn't leave. Now, if you count 12 and he's standing right beside his sideline and he starts to move off, right, and before the ball is snapped, are we going to kill that? No, because he can get there. All right, so there's a little bit of judgment in there. Can they break the huddle with 12? Yes. True. Player, replace player, substitute fails to leave the field on the sideline when the team box is located. So again, if you go off off the end line, you go off on the other side of the field, that's a dead ball foul, right? You can't do that. If you leave the field, and you don't go directly to your team box, is that a dead ball foul? Yeah, so you've got to leave the field and go to your. So if he's walking very slowly, he's going to his team box, just let it go. We're not looking for that. But if he's just standing there, and when would we see this? Down towards the goal line, right? He wants to watch. We see what happens. No, he's got to go. Substitute becomes a player and withdraws during the same dead ball period. John, have you ever called this?
Nope.
I've never called. Have we seen this? The coaches don't know who's supposed to be on the field. The kids don't know who's supposed to be on the field. I'm not going to know who's supposed to be on the field, so I'm going to assume he's supposed to be on the field. All right. So no, I've never called this one. I've seen it plenty of times, but I've never called it. Live ball fouls. Previous spot. So we've got during a down, a replaced player or substitute unsuccessfully leaves the field and does not participate. So for your wing officials, the guy's running beside, if he's running off the field and you don't kill it, it's a dead ball. And he gets behind you and you're not on the sideline, you're a couple yards off the sideline. Are you going to call this? No. He's behind you. Don't let it go. Failure of a substitute to be on their side of the neutral zone when the ball is snapped or free kicked. Okay, so this is a live ball, previous spot foul. Now, if he continues and then he participates, now what is this? illegal participation. But if he just stands there and doesn't do anything, then it's just a live ball previous spot foul. When do we see this? Kid doesn't realize he's supposed to be on the field goal block team or the try block team, right? And so he realized at the last minute, I'm going to be in trouble. So I'm going to run out there, and he's at the 20-yard line when they snap it and kick the try. Is that all? Did he participate? No. But that is a live ball illegal substitution foul. Because he's still a substitute, right? He did not remember, it has to be substitute enters the field and does something. He just entered the field and let everybody know that he was supposed to be where he's supposed to be. Non-play. Yeah. Sitting spot during the down, replace player, substitute enters during the down and does not participate. Okay, so what's the difference between this and the other one? This is during the down. The ball's snapped already, and then he comes on. All right, that's a non-player foul. Again, typically it's seen on these tries. Somebody doesn't realize they're supposed to be on the field, and they come running on at the last minute. Here's some examples. See how fast our Wi-Fi is going. So we got 2nd and 10. We got a player that's running across. All right, what are we going to do with that? We let it go?
You don't know when that ball is snapped. You have no idea. He's running. He's making an attempt.
Yeah, he's making an attempt. So does he participate in any way? He does not. So it's a legal substitution foul. So the question is live ball, dead ball. That's a judgment call. Judgment call on that. Yep. People keep going in and out. All right. And so if we make that a live ball foul, where are we going to enforce that from? What's the basic spot? Previous spot. Yep. Yep. All right. There's another one. So all right. So again, he's running off, right? See past the wing official? Yeah. Yeah, that's close. That's judgment to that. Is he affecting anything? No. I think letting that go, probably not a bad idea. Probably not. Probably not. You just can't go, coach at Spring Valley. It's okay. We're going to let that go. No, you can't say that. There's another one. So he's all right. So he was probably at the numbers, right? So how far is the numbers from the sideline? 9 yards. Okay. All right. So let's. All right. So the ball is snapped, and he's just maybe getting to the numbers. That one we can't ignore. You can't ignore that. That's too much. All right. So the official. Yes, he throws a flag, walks.
This is the chain side. So this is the headlines. Headlines does not count defense. Headlines should not be called out. He has no idea if that's the 11th play. That's a back judge's call. Mechanically, this guy doesn't know if that's the dude or not. Right?
Yes, it's a great point that Marfrey made. So
he should be counting the backfield of the offense. He has no idea what this guy is doing.
Yeah.
This should be the back judge calling.
So the linesman has no idea if it's the 11th player who's running off, giving the defense only 10, or if it's the 12th player running off. He does not know this. So the back judge has got to count this. And he's too far out on the field. And he's too far out on the field. But mechanically counting B it's the line judge and the back judge. So the back judge has got to count this and then make the decision. All right. He didn't get off. I mean, he's not even to the numbers yet. So I'm going to drop my flag for a dead ball. I'm sorry, excuse me, for a live ball illegal substitution foul. And then the options, so they gain about 5 yards. So the options for A, either make it 2nd and 5, decline the foul, or go 1st and 5. Yeah. 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 Okay. All right, here's another one. So we got this guy's kind of jogging off, and they killed it. They killed it. So again, he's not even past the hash.
I think that's the right call, but based on his location where he's at, he's got to shut them down.
Yeah.
What if he quiet?
Well, there's judgment to that, and that's the thing. The back judges they got to make a decision, because if you kill it, okay, you give him a free 5 yards, but if the offense got some sort of like trick play or something like that, it might have cost them as well. So there's a judgment there with that, but making it a dead ball foul makes life a little easier for us when it comes to things like that, because again, if you let it go, like Sam's saying, if that kid while he's running off, if he collides with an A player, now what do you have? We got legal participation. Yeah, we got more things to discuss. All right, so this one's we'll walk. So we got less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter. All right, so 1st and 10. Okay, 1st and 10. A minute to go in the first quarter. A nice little run play. Okay, forward progress is stopped. We've stopped the clock. 1st and 10. We're going to spot the ball. And then the ball will be marked ready. When is the ball ready for play? Okay. So clock's not running yet. So the referee's not started it yet. Now we have a flag that comes in. So was the ball ready for play yet? No. And they counted 12 on A. They flag him for illegal substitution before they're ready. Okay, so what should the down and distance be? Still 1st and 10, right? And we're going to reset the change, right? Because the ball was never ready for play. Was that a quick count by the umpire there to get that 12? Yeah, it's a little quick. All right, because they haven't put the ball ready for play yet. So if I haven't put the ball ready for play yet, am I counting? John, do you count before you put the ball ready for play? No, I'm not counting either. Yeah. So the scoreboard says, scorebug says 1st and 15, but it should be 1st and 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have to go back and make more announcements. That's never good. First down. Same people looking around. Everybody's looking around, but they got it right. They put it 1st and 10. Okay, because the ball has not been marked ready for play yet. All right, 3rd and 2. So we got to count, right? We got to count A, we got to count B. And sometimes we have to count multiple times. But this is important. Run the. Now we're killing. Why are we killing? What's happening here? What's happened? All right. Cameraman's confused. Najee Harris is like, thank you for something. And they counted the defense. They got him with 12 in formation. So 5 yards, gave him first down. All right. But we've got to be counted. So every play, don't do this. I've heard this said in pre-games. I only count when they substitute. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then I'm only going to count the ones that run off and count the numbers that come. Don't do that. You count 11 every single time. Every single time. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're at the 1A level and there's like 13 players, just count the sideline, okay? Just count the sideline. But for the if you're what's Kiza do it with Dennis this year, 7-man football, whatever. But count every single time because as soon as you start skipping, then you develop the bad habit of skipping. All right. All right. So we've got to try our field goal. Excuse me. 4th and 5, blocked. All right. Mad scramble. Mad scramble. So since this is we got a flag. Why do we have a flag? Why is the coach upset? Uh-oh. What is that? Did he influence the play in any way? No. Did he enter during the down? Yes. So what is the enforcement? What's the basic spot for this? The sitting spot. So it's 4th and 5, blocked field goal attempt. That's recovered behind the line of scrimmage. Does it matter who recovers this? No, because who's going to be awarded a new series? R, right? And then what we're going to do with that foul? We're going to back up 5. It's still going to be Washington's ball, 1st and 10 on that point. Okay, because he entered during the down, which made this a non-player succeeding spot foul, because he did not influence the play. All right, so here we got a field goal. We got a try, and now he's on the kicking team. So what are we going to do with him? What are we going to do with this? He's on the kicking team, running onto the field. He's number 11. So he's considered a substitute, right? When does he become a player? When he enters and does. Let's go back to the definition here. So let's go back. A substitute replaces a player or fills a player vacancy and becomes a player when they enter the field and communicate with a teammate, game official, enter the huddle, in formation, or participate. Does he do any of those things? No. So he's still considered a substitute, right? All right. Still considered a substitute. So what are we going to have? What is it? Is this a live ball foul? Yes, right? So, but what's the basic spot for this? Because we're going to say he entered in the down because we really don't know when he entered, right? We have no idea. Nobody's watching that. I mean, maybe the back judge or line judge might notice him, but he's not going to be able to say when he entered the field or not. So we have a live ball foul, illegal substitution foul, succeeding spot. So the try was good. So we're going to enforce this on the kickoff, right? Kickoff. And if the try was no good, we would still enforce this on the kickoff. There's no option for B to have them to repeat the try. Does everybody see that one?
Have you seen it?
Yeah, where do you think these videos come from? All right, illegal participation. So we covered substitution. Now we're going to talk about the ones that participate. A or K steps out of bounds prior to a change of possession. And this can be intentional or unintentional. Any player intentionally steps out of bounds during a down. Non-player influences the play. Player or non-player enters during the down and participates. Helmet comes off a player and they continue to participate. Injured player not replaced for one down. The exception being overtime or halftime intermission. Okay. Disqualified player re-enters. Deception or 12 or more players participate during the down. Now, we're going to try to get rid of 12 or more players by counting pre-snap, right? But there are times they're going super fast, no huddle, and you count 12, and they've already snapped the ball. It is what it is. You know, it's not our responsibility to make sure they have the right number of people on the field. It's the coach's responsibility for that. We try to help them out by getting it as a dead ball more for our sake than theirs. But if they've already got 12 and they snap the ball, there's nothing we can do about that. All right, video action. All right. We got a kickoff, we got a free kick. Run back. We got a helmet laying on the ground. All right. So, can you pick your helmet up and put it back on and continue to participate? No. So he gets blocked. Double teamed. Helmet comes off. And then he goes and he falls on the pile. Did he participate? And why is this a foul? Who are we protecting? We're protecting him. So low threshold on these, okay? Low threshold, all right? And nice back judge with nice big toss in the referee, nice big toss in there, you know. Do the check the ball, let the flag fly. Okay. All right. All right, here's another good one. All right, well, we know based on the screenshot, we got a helmet laying on the ground. So we got a punt. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, so. Yep. There's a helmet on the ground. There's no head in it, so that's good. Oh, there's another helmet coming on the ground. So, did all this action occur during the kick? You're right. He muffed this, right? Kick never ended, right? So the basic spot is going to be previous spot unless PSK applies, correct? Okay. All right. So whose helmet came off? K or R? K. Yeah, K. I think the second one was in the pile up after the play was over with. Yeah. So we've got that's a muff. But did you participate during the kick?
No.
You didn't?
You participated during the run. During the return.
So we got muff. All right, helmet's off. Okay. There's no foul for pulling off the helmet. So okay, so now it's kick ended. All right, during the return. So now it changes this, right? And now he goes. So now we have a fumble. We have a forward fumble.
Did go out of bounds, thank you.
Did not go out of bounds, thank God. Yes, correct. So the end of the run is the spot of the fumble, right? All right. And then K illegally participates because he recovered the fumble without a helmet on. And it was an immediate recovery. I mean, it's clearly helmet off. So where are we going to enforce this foul from? From the end of the run. Yeah, end of the run. So the back judge needs to have how many beanbags? 2. What needs to be beanbag? Does the muff get a beanbag? Right. So the muff, no beanbag for the muff. So a blue beanbag for the end of the kick, which is when player possession. Yep. Player possession, and then a white or black beanbag for the fumble. All right. And then as the referee, I got to come down here and look at a very fragile back judge because probably who's going to get the flag on this? You think the back judge is going to get the flag on this, or the line judge? Probably going to be the line judge, right? The big picture, you see the helmet, you see the guy with no helmet recovering the ball. You got the big back judge has got all this stuff, all these players around him. So big picture wise, the line judge is probably going to have the flag on this. So you got to come down there, you got to ask them, and so the conversation has to be, what was the status of the ball? Was it during the kick or the return? And then all right, you say during the turn, perfect. We have a fumble. Where was that spot at? We have it 15 yards against K. What's that? No, we're saying we're during the turn because when the helmet when right. Oh, so yeah, that's a good point. That could be because okay, so we're punt. Yeah, so we got and it's on the wide side is to the line judge side. So yeah.
Let's see if you put
Hey.
he might think that it was doing king.
Well, and that's all right. All right, so we got a nice hold. So we got a fumble, right? That is a fumble. Ball is loose. We got big dudes running on the ground to dive for it. We got a helmet on the ground. So we just said a minute ago, so that kid, that player that dives on the ball, his helmet comes off, and he's scooping the ball as his helmet's coming off. Oh, do we have anything on this? No. So, yeah, we can't use that term.
With the helmet.
Yes, but it's in the same action.
Yeah.
It's not 2 separate actions. I mean, they're both diving. A 330-pound guy falls on your head. Your helmet's probably going to pop off. And as you're diving, you're scooping the ball. Okay, that's not a foul. Okay, not a foul. Wally's not here. Okay. He's not online either. 1st and 10. Okay. And remember, AC4 streams all their games. And I watch all their games. Okay. There's no hiding. All right. We got a nice running play here. We got a fumble. We got a kid with no helmet. Flag. No, it's Lawrence. And his helmet's way back there, right? Way, yeah. So he ran what? A good. Go back, watch the beginning of this. The ball snapped to the 38. He's a lineman. All right, the helmet's already off. Okay. Helmet is already off. All right, so we have a fumble recovered by the defense. All right, do we have a legal participation here by this player? Yes. Remember, safety, right? If he's running after the pile, what could A do? They don't know. They could hit him, right? Yeah. So now we have another foul. So we got to get this. So we have a running play that ended beyond the line of scrimmage, right? The rule change this year is that these are all going to be enforced from the basic spot, right? These are no longer going to be a spot foul. Now I haven't seen the wording on this. We can't get our rule books until then. But the rule change is that this will no longer be a spot foul. Okay. I'm skeptical, but like I said, when I get the rules book, we'll know for sure on this one. But either way, is B going to end up with the ball? No. So we know A is going to get the ball. It's just a matter of where we're going to enforce this from, right? The run ends beyond the line of scrimmage. Okay. B's foul was at the line of scrimmage ish, but does that matter? Because it's B, right? It's B. So we're going to enforce this. Does it matter that B's foul was behind the run at all? No. Where's the enforcement spot for this? For B's foul? From the spot of the fumble, right? At the end of the run. So that's where it's going to be enforced from. Okay. And I have a lot of videos of helmets coming off players. Why do the helmets keep coming off the players so much? Because they're not tightening them enough. They're not tightening enough. Yeah. Especially in September, August and September, we see a lot more helmets come off. When it gets cold, magically the helmets stay on because they're cold. But in the summertime, the helmets come off. All right. All right. Oh, we got a helmet off. So he's blocking. His helmet comes off. And then they just kind of stop. And he just kind of walks around and picks it up. There's nothing there, right? That's nothing. We're not gonna penalize that. Not gonna penalize that. So yeah, it's a good question. So if the helmet comes off because B's lineman has illegal use of hands, he's got his hands up in his helmet, then does he have to sit out a play if we call the foul? And who needs to see that? Umpire, that initial action at the snap. Mm-hmm. Because if we don't see that, we don't call that, then who starts to get angry? The linemen start getting angry. Yeah. And when they start getting angry, what do? They take a lot of cheap shots. Yeah, if he sees it, yeah. If he sees it, yeah. But I think it was the center. I mean, the snapper, the umpire should get that. And if a player comes into you and says, hey, he's pushing my helmet off, ask him what number it is, and then actually watch for it for a play or two. See what's actually happening. Okay, so we've got a try. No, so we're gonna make this a field goal. Make this a field goal for high school. Yeah. Oop, what? No, I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. So if this was a kick try, we could do what? Just kill it. Not have to worry about all this, right? Well, this is a field goal attempt. Okay, field goal attempt. All right, so so remember, field goal. All right, so he blocks it with his helmet, and then he runs after it, and then he's like, oh, wait a minute. So did he participate? Yes. All right, so, and that's on R, right? So this is during a kick. So what's the basic spot? So where are we going to enforce this from? Previous spot and replay the down, right? It could be a first down, depending on what, yeah. Dorman and Gaffney, I think. Oh, yeah. All right. First of all, that's not happening. All right.
Is this either?
No, no. So no, this does not happen. Your flag goes deep into your pocket. All right, deep into your pocket.
It's literally hanging out. Weird.
All right, we've got a fumble, right, which means we got players fighting for possession. Are we walking to the pile? No. Umpire, wing official need to get in there and figure out who's got the ball, right? And then what are the rest of us doing? We're separating the players. Get them separated while two officials figure out who's got the ball. All right. All right. So
He's like this.
the ball snapped on the 45, on B's 45. Backward pass. All right. So the end of the run. So the this is going to be the dead ball spot's going to be at the 44, right? So where are we enforcing this from? So running because the B's foul occurred. The B's 45. Got to pitch backwards. That's dropped. You didn't fumble it, right? So we're going to enforce this from where? A foul by B. Is that a fumble? Or is it a backward pass? Backward pass. So where are we going with this one? Does everybody agree? Free your spot. Free your spot. Yeah. Yeah. Just make sure. Mm-hmm. Free your spot. But we don't need a clinic. It's okay. We don't need one. We don't need one. They're not coming. It's okay. All right. So, number 17 on A. What did we say about going out of bounds? They can be intentional or, but if you're forced out of bounds, are you good? As long as you do what? First opportunity. Does he lose player eligibility? No, he does not. He does not. So he remains eligible. So this is hard, right? In a five-man crew, this is pretty hard. All right. This is not something that we're going to see, nor should we really see it a lot. But later on, when you get to seven-man, but keep this in mind that if you're forced out and you come back in right away, you're good. And you can not once you're and if you're eligible at the start of the down, and throughout the down. So we saw a force. And again, don't be picky on this. Like if he gets pushed, you got forced out of bounds. This guy here, all right. So he's on offense. Yeah, clearly out of bounds on his own. Does he reestablish himself? He does. So is that a catch?
Yes.
It is a catch. But we have illegal participation by A during what type of play? Loose ball play. So we can go previous spot. Okay. No, back pedal. Get out of there. Okay, so for B to be guilty of illegal participation, they have to do what? Intentionally go out of bounds. So if you unintentionally go out of bounds, you don't have anything, right? He steps out of bounds. Does he reestablish himself? So this makes it a incomplete pass, right? So he jumps from out of bounds while in the air, touches the pass. You didn't have to catch it, just touches it, right? So to reestablish yourself, you have to do what? You have to have one part of your body touching in bounds and then touch the ball. And no part of your body touching out of bounds. Yep. All right. We've got a punt, and we got these guys up here at the top of the screen blocking, right? So remember, the force applies to A, but also applies to K. K. So K can be forced out as well. And again, as soon as they come back in immediately, then you do not have illegal participation. Yeah, it's just a lot of words for them to say that. Yeah. So he gets forced out of bounds and they down the ball inside the 10. So that's perfectly fine. There's no foul there. Are we good with that shift? Yeah, go back to it. All right. So go back to. All right. Let's say it's 3rd and 3. Are we good with this shift? Yeah, it's pretty controlled, pretty deliberate. All right, we got a helmet off. Does he participate? Yeah, he does. Yeah. And we're going to enforce that from the end of the run, right? Which happened to be out of bounds. Oh, you got to be on the field. Oh, okay. Bam. Big lineman runs on the field. Did he enter during the down?
Yeah.
Well, let's go back and watch. Okay. So they go. So when he's down here. No, he's not. Now he's on. Is he on his side of the neutral zone when the ball is snapped? All right. So he's. Did he enter during the down? No. So he entered prior to the snap, and he happens to be on his side. So is he a player?
Yes.
Yes. So is this anything? He was the 11th guy. If he's the 11th guy, then he's good. If he's the 12th guy, then we have a foul. But if it's so, back judge, you're counting. You got to know you have 10. You see a number 11 come on. If you know you have 11, you see number 12 come on, then you know you've got a foul. Okay. Got one coming off. All right, we got an arrowhead. So he comes off the sideline. All right, so he comes off the sideline, and you can see the lineman looking like, where'd this guy come from? Yeah. So was he clearly in the field of play when that ball was snapped? No. And a lot of people are like, well, what do you got down there? So yeah, so this one we need, and then obviously he participates, right? So we said he entered during the down, and then he participates. So what is this? What is this one? So he participates. So we're gonna go, and the down ended behind the line of scrimmage. So we're gonna go from the previous spot on this one. Previous spot. Yep. We're almost through these. All right. So this is so we see a kid go off. No, wait, no, wait. You're supposed to be on the field. What? Huh? Huh? I am. And then, oh, he comes back on. Does he get back on his side of the neutral zone? It's close. Close. Yeah. Watch him. So he's got to get where? He's got to get behind his 40. Right? So he's off. He's not. He's encroached. He's encroached. So if we see it, we can do what? Kill it. Make encroachment. Make an encroachment. All right. So okay, so that's going to be yeah. So the back judge has got to see that because the back judge on K's free kick line. Yeah, the back judge has got to be aware of that. Yeah. All right, got a kick coming on. So is he on his side of the neutral zone when the ball is snapped? So he cannot be guilty of encroachment. So the question is, does he participate? Yeah, this is a. So if you say he doesn't participate, then he's considered a non-player, and this is going to be enforced from big spot. Yeah. If you say he participates, then now we've got illegal participation. We're going to have to distance from the end of the run. Okay. I would say he probably doesn't really participate that much. He doesn't take up any oxygen. He's not bothering anybody. All right. 2 minutes of excitement. All right. So first of all, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got 12. Who's got to count this? Is it when they're down towards the goal line? Is it pretty hard for the line judge to get it? Yeah, because they're so condensed, right? But you got one. You got two things, right? You got to count, and you got to watch the clock. Okay. Yes, he needs to be back. Needs to be on the end line. So drops the flag. Okay. All right. This is on a touchdown. That was on the touchdown. All right. And we got a mad defensive coordinator. So they called this a live ball foul, right? So what are the options? On a scoring play by B. A live ball foul by B on the scoring play. Try or the kickoff. All right. What should they have done? Killed this. All right. Because we still have 1 minute and 45 seconds of video because they did not do the right thing initially. Okay. But we got a conversation. Got a conversation. We're still conversing. All right, referees. Are we going to do that? Can let the coach come to you? No. We're not going to strut very slowly to the sideline. He has the options. We're going to run over there, and we're going to explain him what the options are. And this is important, right? Because it's 41-34. Depending on the kicking situation, they may want to go for two. So they make sure he understands. You either go half the distance or you get it on the kickoff here. We're in the fourth quarter of a tight ball game. And then referees, what's the other part when you give signals?
Still.
You have to know the signals, to know what you call it. Did he give the right signal? He did not. Did not. You got to give the right signals. Give the right signals. All right. Deception. Player lying on the ground at or immediately prior. Well, you're signaling for kickoff. Yeah. Player lying on the ground at or immediately prior to the snap or free kick. Substitution or pretend substitution. Player replace player, substitute, coach, trainer, immediately prior to snap or free kick. So this is a hideout play, right? What these are. Here's the deception. We got a kickoff. And so we have an our player that lies down in his purple end zone with his purple uniform and then gets up and they throw a backward pass to him. Is that deception? Yes. That's illegal participation. When is this a foul? When he does what?
Kid stays on, he lays down in the field.
Player deception, player lying on the ground at or immediately prior to the snap of the free kick. So him lying on the ground is the foul. Yeah, is the foul. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, get up. It'd be like, get up. But no, I'd be like, you must be hurt. Let me kill this. Yeah. Okay, so we got a third down play. Incomplete pass. Okay.
Broad River and St. Andrews.
Incomplete pass. All right, so we're all right, going back to previous spot. It's fourth down. Now watch the white. They have them all come off. And then you see the one kid. They're still running them on and off. And now is that a pretend substitution? Yes. That is a pretend substitution. Yeah. So that is illegal participation. That is deception. We got to get that. All right. Timeouts and clock considerations. Because they're pretending to substitute. Yeah. He's pretending to run off and he doesn't go off. All right. Extending the period. Untimed down. So foul and penalty accepted by either team during the last time down. We extend. A double foul. We extend. An inverted whistle. We extend. And you may have multiple repeated untimed downs. No untimed down. Defensive fouls during an successful try and field goal, and the offending team enforces from the succeeding spot. So if they choose that, then we end the down. We end the period. We flip them, right? And then we enforce the foul. Foul results in a safety. Foul enforcement results in a safety. Loss of down fouls. And those are, what are the 4 loss of down fouls? Illegal forward pass. Illegal forward handing. Illegal touching. No, just 3, right? Is there 4 or 3? Just 3 now. Intentional grounding. Illegal forward pass. Yep. Illegal forward pass. Yeah. Unsportsmanlike non-player fouls, because those are enforced from the spot. Fouls enforced on a subsequent kickoff. And a dead ball foul occurring prior after the period ends is enforced from the succeeding spot and no untimed down. So if the period ends and then somebody takes a cheap shot after the play, that's enforced from the succeeding spot, there's no untimed down. So that's why at the end of the fourth period, and in the fourth quarter, you could have an unsportsmanlike foul not get enforced. All right. So we've got 2 seconds left. 21-20. Oh. All right. So what do we have there? We got a personal foul. We got targeting. Right. So that was during the last time down of the half. So what can A choose to do? Right. Take the 15 yards and from the end of the run. So bam, right there at the 29. And then is he ejected? No, not in high school. No, he's not. This is my favorite. It has the hearts and the balloons flying through it and everything. It's my favorite. Okay. So this is a field goal attempt. So what do we know about field goal attempts? Live ball, right? So what are we doing pre-snap? Rolling the fist. So let's roll this with the floating hearts and everything. Let's roll this. All right. Is the ball still alive? Is the ball still alive? Uh-oh. He just killed it. So R recovers a scrimmage kick behind the neutral zone. The ball's still alive, right? Does not, he throws it up into the air. All right, unless he throws it forward, because if he threw it forward and it hits the ground, it would be what? Incomplete pass, right? It would be a foul, right, for a illegal forward pass, but we wouldn't have an untimed down because there's no untimed down after a foul with a loss of down foul, right? But he threw it backwards. So when he throws it backwards, is the ball still alive?
Yeah.
And K catches it. Can they run with it? Yes. Can they score a touchdown? Yes. Unless an official blows the whistle. And he blew the whistle. So we have what? An inadvertent whistle during the last time down of the quarter. So we should have untimed down. We still have floating hearts. We have people celebrating. And we have officials that are going to, what are they going to do? They're going to walk off the field. They're going to walk off the field. Yes. Yes. Yep.
How do you get the foul?
You would if you got through the rest of it, but you know, yeah, offsetting non-player fouls. All right, fourth quarter, 3 seconds left. We got a match scramble. Oh no. Big man catches it. Oh no. Little guy's like, I'm just gonna push him out of bounds. So what do we have here? Illegal touching. So we're gonna extend the no. Game is over. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there's no eligible in the area.
Over the middle, and it's
okay.
dropped.
This is another one of my favorite ones. So no time left. Let's go back here. All right. Oops. Okay. So no time left. Last play of the game. It's 34-34, right? Incomplete pass. We're going overtime. Nope. We got intentional. We got roughing the passer. So we're going to go 15 from the previous spot because it was an incomplete pass. We have untimed down. They're going to try a field goal attempt. Now, we're going to pretend that this stays in the field of play. On time down. Field goal attempt. Really windy. Incomplete. No good. Okay. What do we got? He's making an announcement. They had encroachment. I think they had illegal formation. So they got to try it again, right? Sorry, they had illegal substitution. That's right. R had a legal substitution foul. So 5 more yards. Going to try it again. They kick it again. Really windy. Wind hasn't died. Kicker didn't get there the first time. He ain't going to get there the second time. All right, so we're going to pretend he catches this in the field of play. And he's running it back. He's running it back. Remember, we're tied ball game here, right? Tied ball game. No, not out of bounds yet. Oh, no. Oh, no. We get a face mask foul. By K. So now what? We get another on time down, right? We'll go half the distance from the end of the run. And who gets to kick a game-winning field goal this time? There we go. And they win the game. Yep. So you got to really know this stuff. A lot of people, unless you're Al Morant, and then you would have had him go for 2. All right, 6 seconds to go. TCU's up by 4 points, backed up into their own end zone. So this is when the coaches have too much time on their hands. It's 4th and 8. So what are they going to try to? What do John and I need to anticipate they're going to try to do? They're going to try to run back there and take a safety, right? All right. So we have to anticipate that. So knowing that, what is the only line that really is going to matter? O-line. He's got to get there, right? So I'm going to probably put myself on the goal line and not come off of it because I don't trust these kids. Right? So here he goes. All right. Well, what do we see while he's running backwards? We see, go back and watch this again. What does the white players do while he's running around back there? Yeah. Now, are they holding in the end zone? Does the hold begin in the end zone or in the field of play? Field of play, right? So, if B accepts the foul, we're going to enforce this from the previous spot and have a time down. If they do not accept the foul, what is the result of this play? Safety. And game's over with, right? Right, yeah. So if you explain, like, coach, the only way to have another snap is that you have to enforce the foul and replay the down and make them snap it again. All right, game situation, game awareness here, into the game stuff. Yeah. All right. So there's multiple plays on this thing. So we're all right. So we're at the 30 going in. All right. They throw an incomplete pass. Incomplete pass. There's 12 seconds left on the game clock. Okay. Keep that in mind. 12 seconds. All right. So ball's going to be snapped. Clock's running. All right. So reaches the line to gain. Clock is stopped, right? Yes. So as a referee, this is when you kind of have to be aware. And back judges, you have to know who's got the clock on this. As Chapin, they got 2 clocks. All right. That I think function pretty well. Some plays only have 1 clock. So depending on which way you're going, you're going to have to see the down end and take a peek and see if the clock stops when it's supposed to. It does. Clock stopped. Now they don't have any timeouts yet, so they're hurrying. Yeah, they're hurrying. And now he throws the ball out of the back of the end zone. And there's a flag come down. And so what's this flag going to be for? Let's see. Because you got one guy trying to get off. This guy is not. You definitely not supposed to be there. He's not in formation, and he's trying to get off too, because they tried to substitute for some reason. So he's trying to get off too. So you've got, and this is one of the times they're going really fast, right? So are you going to get 12? Count the 12 before they snap it? Likely, no, probably not. But you got them. So the flag comes in. Flag comes in. So, and now this is where you have to have clock awareness, right? Because they threw an incomplete pass. That clock says 0 at when this down ends. So what should we just do? Incomplete pass. Decline the penalty and in the game. Well, so you can see they weren't aware of where the clock situation was. So they were going to enforce the foul and give them an untimed down. And then Chapin realizes, no, wait, the game should be ended. So the line judge goes in and tells them that the game has to end. Yeah. So that all goes back to that awareness, right? And knowing who's got the clock. And there are certain times when we have penalties, we just got to slow down. And in the game stuff, when the clock's involved, you got to slow down. And be all right, what do we have here? What does the clock say? And then what are they going to do? Now, if there's 1 second left on the game clock and it's an incomplete pass, does B have the option to start the clock on the ready? No. Don't give them that option. They don't get that option. The only time you have the option is to do what the game clock, to start it on the snap. Yep. All right. Foul occurs in the final 2 minutes of either half. The offended team has the option to start the game clock on the snap. The foul does not have to be accepted. It just has to occur. So we got 52 seconds left in the second quarter. Clock's running. And what do we get? So does B have an option here? Yes. So don't take away their option. Remember, they have an option. All right. We got 17 seconds left in the fourth quarter. All right. So we get a hold over here. Okay. And then runner runs out of bounds. Does B have an option on the game clock? No, because he went out of bounds. Yeah. All right, 18 seconds left in the second quarter. Auburn's got the ball. So they are allowed to legally spike it, right? We can spike it under center, we can spike it out of shotgun. But to legally spike it, we have to do certain things. So does he still throw a forward pass that hits the ground?
Yes.
So it's still dead, or the clock still stopped, right? It's incomplete pass, right? But did he do it legally? No. So because he did what? He muffed it, right? You got to control the snap and then spike it. Are we going to wind the clock here on the ready for this? Yes, because he did what? He illegally conserved time. Does B still have the option to start this on the snap? Yes, they do. So you still got to tell them. So you got to go, all right, I'm going to start this on the line. So we need to ask B, do they want to start on the snap? And this is why this is important. Because we've got a thrilling Latta Lakeview game. All right. So 17-14, fourth quarter, 1st and 10. Lakeview's got one timeout left, and I think they're on defense. Okay. Running play. We see a flag that comes in, right? So we get a holding foul on Green. Latta. So stop the clock.
One of the last stop. One of the wings.
So the wing finally stopped it.
He finally stopped. It.
Yeah.
Like 4 seconds.
So when the down's over with and you have a flag, what do you need to be doing? Stop the clock. So you're going to ask them, do they want to enforce it or not? Well, the yard, they didn't really gain any yards. So what's more important here, the down or distance at this point? The down, right? Because they're trying to get the ball back. You got one timeout left. So if they decline this foul, do they still have the clock option? They do. They do. So you have to explain this to them very clearly. So second down. All right. You don't need to go like you're doing a plane, just one time. Decline the foul. Okay. But they did not clearly explain to the coach so then the coach uses his last timeout because they did not explain it. So take your time and run through this and explain this stuff because you cost him his last timeout. It's unlikely they're going to get the ball back anyway, but you guaranteed they're not getting the ball back at this point. All right, so now we're not inside of 2 minutes, but we're inside of 4 minutes. And this is where a little bit of judgment comes into play. 3rd and goal, 4th quarter. And you get a false start. If you believe that they committed this false start intentionally, then what can you do with the game clock on the snap? If you believe they illegally conserve time, but you better be sure, okay? And it has to be obvious, all right? An obvious thing that's not obvious. He just missed a snap count. But some of these teams are good enough to do this. Some of them are coached well enough to do this. Just have it at the back of your mind. It's out of 4 minutes. Just be aware for things like this. Because if that gives them another 25 seconds because of foul by A. So play clock goes to 25. All right, we're almost done. Charge timeouts. So the player, the head coach, or the head coach designee, and we established that when? Pre-game. Maybe request a timeout. So any player can request a timeout. So how many times have you had a player say he wants a timeout? You grant the timeout, coach. I didn't call that. But I know you didn't call that. Your player did. He's not allowed to. So yes, he is. Yes, he is. All right. Faulty player equipment delays ready for play for 25 seconds. Faulty player equipment requires team attendant repair. If they don't have any timeouts, they have to do what? Sit out or down. Yeah. They got to sit out or down, right? Or a head coach referee conference to discuss rule application. The key here, you cannot use a timeout to get an injured player or a player equipment back into the game. Can't use a timeout. So one of the things I tell my coaches in the pregame when I meet with them is if you need a timeout down towards the end zone, you got to come run it to us and get to us, right? Because we can't hear you. We're not paying attention to you down there. So you've got to run and come get us, right? And then if you're the wing official and you see the timeout called right at the snap and you're going to grant him the timeout, what do you need to do? You need to run in and kill it. Your whistle's got to be blowing and you've got to run in and kill that thing. Head coach referee conference. What does this occur at? At the numbers? At the at midfield? In the end zone? No. In the field of play, I do not step on the white. in front of the team box. Applies to rule application. Does it apply to, Ted Manning is just terrible and he just can't see pass interference and can't call a holding foul? Did we have a conference about that? No.
Waste his time out if he wants to.
He can. After a series has ended and they punt and we spot the ball and the coach goes, hey, I want to talk to the referee. For me to come talk to him, what does he need to do? He needs to call a timeout. Don't just say you want to come talk to me while we're going, because you know what? The ball's spotted. I'm ready to go. Okay? I'm ready to go. It is Saturday afternoon at Bolden, and I am ready to go in many ways. Okay? In many ways. All right? So I'm not going to stop the game to come talk to you outside the flow of the game. Now, if there's an injury, something happens, there's a delay of some sort, then sure, I'll come talk to you then additionally, but I am not going to stop the flow of the game to come talk to you unless you take that time out. And I need the wings to convey that to them. Like, yeah, just come talk to you. Take a time out. I'll come talk to you. And amazingly, how many times they don't want to do that. If we change the ruling, then they get the timeout back. If we don't change the ruling, they lose their timeout. If they don't have timeouts, can they still request this?
Yeah, sure.
And if we don't change it, it's what? A delay a game foul. Charge timeouts not to exceed 1 minute. Maybe reduced to both teams are ready. Successful timeouts by either team is permissible. And there's two types. So we've got those that are inside the 9-yard marks and those that are outside. How many coaches can be involved on inside? One. How many coaches can be involved outside? How many won't? Wing officials, what is your job during a timeout? To figure out what they're doing, right? And if they're near the sideline, who cares? And then if they're out past the numbers, then that's when you say, hey, only one. Okay. Now, if it's the timeout taken for an injured player, what is the only conference that's allowed? Outside. So get them outside. Okay. Officials' timeouts for measurements, declaring a first down, following a change of team possession, player equipment, change the game ball, and who may authorize the game ball to be changed? Anybody. Heat and humidity timeouts, head coach, referee, and we changed the ruling up, and we changed the rule. Following a foul for penalty enforcement, unusual delay marking the ball ready for play, and then 1 minute intermission between the first and second, third, fourth quarters following a try, successful field goal, and safety. All right, so fourth down. Let's see what we get going on in this play. All right. Get lined up. All right, so we have a helmet that comes off. All right, there's no foul. So we stop the game clock because he's got to go off, right? And now what are we going to do with the game clock? And we stopped it. And now what are we going to do? Yeah, once the ball's ready for play, we're going to restart it. And the play clock's going to be at 25. 25.
No, they were running out of punch.
No, it was third down. It was just the screenshots at fourth down. All right. Always the last couple of videos are slow. All right. So fourth quarter. 4th and 1, 8 seconds left. So as a wing official, what do we need to be mindful of? The line of gain, right? Because as soon as if he reaches the line of gain and the down ends, what do we need to be doing? Stop the clock and looking at the clock to see where it's at when you stop it. Because only you know. I don't know as a referee. Brad's not going to know as the back judge most likely, but you know. All right, so here we go. They just need 1 yard. So what should you tell your running back to do? Get the 1 or 2 yards and run out of bounds, right? So what should happen? A lot of talking in this video. All right. So what he should do right now is what? Get out of bounds, right? Okay. So is that forward progress has been stopped where? In bounds. So you're gonna wind the clock, right? And stop the clock because you reached the line of the game. So you have to know, is it 2 seconds? Is it 1 second? Or is it no seconds when this happens? But if you have, and they don't have any timeouts left. So if you have him in bounds and you have him and you stop it and there's still a second or 2 seconds left, you have to tell the referee, right? Because what do I have to do? As soon as the ball's spotted and as soon as there's a box, I got to wind the clock. I got to wind the clock. Yeah. Yeah. But yes, that's the communication thing. And you have to communicate that with your referee on that because I don't know. By the time I look up, I'm going to see you just doing this. So you've got to tell me. And I like this in front of my face. I can see that. The whole like by your side and that I don't see that. But I know what this means. So should there be 1 second left on the clock? Probably. When's this forward progress end? Yeah, 1 to 2 seconds. All right. Which you spend 5 minutes getting to set that up. But it's because forward progress has ended what there? It's going backwards. And he's reached the line of gain. So it's a wind and then a stoppage of the clock. Because they reached the line of the game. Let's see if this. All right. So.
Actually kill it first, and then let you know that he's in bounds. That way the clock operator upstairs.
Well, yeah. So once you have his forward progress stop, then you're killing the down. The down ends. He was.
He doesn't know to tell that coach.
Yes.
Yeah. 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 But then while the ball's getting spotted, you need to be telling me, hey, wind the clock. All right, so incomplete pass. We got 51 seconds left. All right, tackled inbound. That's not productive at all, is it? Clock's running. They're out of timeouts. And so they're in hurry up mode, right? So we've got to kind of be in hurry up mode as well. 3rd and 8. So you have to know as a wing official, right? You've got to know where that line to gain is. And so we got him out of bounds, stops the clock. Now we got 1st and 10 from the 40. Now we can take a deep breath because it went out of bounds. So now the line to gain is the 50. Okay, so you got him out of bounds. So now we're at the 43. So now you need to tell yourself, where's he got to get to? Got to get to the 50. Keep doing that. Okay, he's tackled in bounds, but they know he's stuck. And then you got to stop the game clock because he reached the line of the gain. But they didn't do that, did they? So he wound him because he had him in bounds. But he didn't stop it because he wasn't aware of where the line to gain was. Yeah. Charge timeouts. Player allows player to remain. So if you take a team timeout, allows the player to stay in the game for repair of player equipment. Okay. but they must sit out or down if they're apparently injured or bleeding, helmet comes off, not result of a foul, or not wearing proper equipment. And again, excludes overtime and halftime. All right, a couple more and we'll be done. All right, so he's woozy, right? We're gonna stop this, right? Yeah, we're gonna stop this. As soon as we stop it, then he's got to sit out one down, and they cannot take a timeout to try to get him back in. Yeah, he hit his head, so he cannot take a timeout to try. And we'll try this, right? They'll try it. We just got to sit out one down. Rigo's not here to defend himself. All right, we're in overtime, right? It's 42-49. Yeah, we're okay. We got guys running like people are tired. He gets okay, fine. He got on his sideline.
I thought we deleted this film.
That was the wrong one. You got lucky, sir. He said I deleted it. I clicked the wrong one in the thing just to stress you out. All right, here's the last one. And I know that this is a college thing. It's become very, very talked about, but this does not apply to high school. All right, so we've got team that's going fast. They get a first down. They're hustling up. They're running up to snap the ball. Look at the sideline. Oh, yeah, I'm going to lay down. In high school, we're going to grant the timeout for the injured player. He's going to sit out of down. I don't care if you know he's faking it. If you heard them say fake laying being injured, I don't care. Just for your safety, for your liability, just call the injury timeout, make him sit out of play, and be done with it. If you want to write down the game card, the time, and send it to me, and I can send it to Charlie, they can look at it, great, but they don't have any authority over this. So we know teams do this, but he's got to sit out one play. So even if they take a timeout, so like on the next play, if you notice, they forgot to sub in somebody, right? So they only had 10 players. So then they took a timeout. And then they try to run this guy back on. And yep. And you can't do that. So what do we have to communicate? The sidelines. Yeah, the number, right? And we got to communicate to each other. Number 95 has to sit out of down. He's got to sit out of down. And if you see him start to come back in, what do you need to do? Stop him. Send him back off. And then because it's a defensive injury, play clock goes to 40. If it's an offensive injury, it goes to 25. And the play clock operators don't know this. And so we just need to really be in tune with that. And we need the back judges to get it reset. Any questions? All right. We'll see y'all Thursday night. Chuck Duvall says his flags are extra weighted. That's why they fly so far.
Don't give out all my secrets, Messer.